Hi, I'm Nawar Al Qassimi and I'm going to take you around the Sharjah Art Foundation. We're in Emirate Square and we're going to go to see some of my favorite spaces here, Beit Sarkal, Beit Shamsi and the newly renovated and recently opened Flying Saucer building. So we're in the Sharjah Art Foundation Emirate Art Spaces, and these spaces are very iconic to Sharjah Art Foundation. We have opened contemporary new galleries in the heart of the heritage area in 2013 with one of the Sharjah biennials. And what's really unique about the space is that you've got state-of-the-art, contemporary, new minimal gallery spaces which show artists from all around the world. You've got the contemporary buildings juxtaposed by heritage houses, the coral walls that you see around us. And what's really impressive and what's really unique about the space is that the buildings are really minimal. They're not imposing. They blend in seamlessly with the area around us. You kind of don't see it at first and you stumble upon the spaces. They're quite open, and that's kind of the beauty and charm of it, that people can just walk in here without knowing what they're going to find and walk into an exhibition. We also have Mirage City Cinema, our open air cinema space, which was originally an artwork in one of the Sharjah biennials and stayed on to be our permanent cinema space. We've screened films from around the world in our Sharjah film platform, annual exhibitions, events. This space is quite unique because it's actually an aerial view of the Sharjah Art Foundation spaces and buildings. So they've taken the aerial view of this location and turned it into the floor plan or layout for the cinema. And we usually have movies all night with really cozy seating, and you can watch films that are projected on the big screen. A lot of times people in the neighborhood will hear a film and kind of pop out from their balcony and take a look, and if they like the film they'll come down. And sometimes people in the neighborhood and kids who are playing in the neighborhood will walk in and find something they like. We usually show film, it's quite seasonal, so when the weather is nice we show all our films outdoor. It's an intimate setting and you can see all kinds of films from around the world. We also have the Fen Cafe and Fen restaurants in our spaces, so it's one of the spaces where we usually go grab lunch after work. I feel quite lucky to work in a place like this because we've got beautiful architecture and we're surrounded by the souk and the port and the old shops, and there's so much heart and soul in this area. It's a quite unique work environment, I would say. So we're in Beit Shamsi, which is a traditional Emirati home that was originally built in 1845. What's really beautiful about the space is that Sharjah's kept all of these heritage homes intact. They've been restored, they've been repurposed, they've been given life again. Sharjah Art Foundation today uses them and repurposes them as exhibition spaces, galleries, studio spaces for artists, and as community, open community gathering spaces. They're very much still alive today. Beit Sarkal is one of my favorite heritage homes. It was the former home of the British Commissioner to the Gulf and then became the first hospital in Sharjah, where a lot of the residents of Sharjah were born. A lot of people from the older generation would know it as Mustashfa Sarah Hosman. What's really unique about this home is the size of this place. It's a two-story home. It's one of the largest, which was an indicator that it was owned by somebody that was wealthy. It used to be on the water. It gave it a political significance, which is why the former British Commissioner to the Gulf resided in this space. One of my favorite things about Beit Sarkal is the beautiful architecture. I'm in love with the long alleyways, the columns, the stained glass. It's such a beautiful home, and it's really exciting to see it being repurposed and used today as an exhibition space. It was the first museum at one time. We're in the Flying Saucer, which was recently renovated and restored, and we've just opened it with this exhibition, which was the first exhibition that we've shown after the last renovation of the building. The exhibition is Nowhere Less Now 3 by Lindsay Sears and Keith Sargent. We've opened an exhibition space on the ground floor, and we have a platform outside which we can use for performances and public events. We've also got a sunken garden and a whole new basement that's open for the first time, which is our community space and one of the spaces I'm going to show you today. basement of the Flying Saucer, and this part has never really been seen before. We've got a cafe, we've got a sunken garden, we have movie nights, we can watch or screen different things. We've got rooms for craft, dance, performance, meeting rooms and multi-purpose rooms that people can come and use and use the space, rent out the space. It really is a community space. We've also got a library and like a little art store and bookstore. It's one of the most exciting spaces that we've just opened for me personally, because it is, we've got an exhibition space upstairs, but it's a community space, and it is a space really for people to come and make it their own. And for me, as somebody that's grown up in Sharjah, I've seen the Flying Saucer in different shapes and forms over the years. I remember it when we were very young as a supermarket, and then coming back and seeing it. And now, within the latest restoration, it's kind of been transformed back to its original state. I think this building is really special for a lot of people in Sharjah. So we have a timeline of the Flying Saucer that shows visitors exactly what was here at different points of time. So we've got all of the original archival materials from newspapers, photos collected from residents of Sharjah that show the building at different points in time, and really looking at the building from the 70s when it was first built, to the 80s when the first Sharjah Art Cafe opened here, to the 90s when it was a supermarket, and then going on to the 2000s when it was a fast food chicken place. And it's a multi-purpose space for exhibitions, events, screenings, community space. So it's really nice to see how the building has kind of transformed and come over the years. It was really intentional for us to make sure that we had this space be a point of gathering as it was, in the 70s or in the 80s. It was important for us to make sure that people could still have a space to come together, to meet, and this is really why we opened this community space.